In this video, we're going to tell you everything you need to know to make the most delicious roast turkey. Whether you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner and want to impress family, or just want to go big for your meal prepping this week, you don't need to be a chef or have any fancy cookware to make an amazing meal. We're going to break it down and make it really simple and give you a ton of helpful tips. Plus, if you stay till the end, I'll show you how to make an easy turkey bone broth that you can freeze and use later for soup stocks. First, determine how big of a turkey you need. Assume you'll need 1.5 pounds per person. So if you're having 10 people over, get a 15-pound turkey. Or if you're meal prepping like me, then go ahead and get that big turkey just for yourself. You can usually find fresh turkeys in the refrigerated section of the grocery store around Thanksgiving time. This is a little easier than having to thaw a frozen turkey, but if you do want to buy your turkey in advance, then go ahead and buy a frozen one and thaw it in the refrigerator. Allow 1 day, 24 hours of thawing per 5 pounds of turkey. So your 15-pound turkey should thaw for at least 3 days. Now refrigerator settings can vary, so I recommend you give it probably an extra day to thaw just to be safe. For best results, plan to marinate your turkey overnight for about 12 to 24 hours. If you're short on time, you can prepare the marinade the same day you cook it. It just won't be as flavorful. So next we're going to make our seasoning blend. Turkey is pretty versatile and can be seasoned in many ways, but around the holidays I prefer a more traditional blend of herbs. I'm going to use garlic, rosemary, thyme, and sage. If you have them, fresh herbs are fantastic, but dry herbs work too. In a bowl, combine about 1 to 2 tablespoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper, 7 cloves of chopped garlic, 2 tablespoons of rosemary, 2 tablespoons of thyme, and a tablespoon of sage. Add a half a cup of olive oil and 1 lemon. I recommend adding the lemon juice and maybe a little zest to the marinade, and then save those lemon wedges to cook inside the bird. Now we're ready for our turkey. Now don't wash your turkey in the sink. This can contaminate your sink and kitchen. Remember, any bacteria that might be on the turkey will be killed by the high cooking temperature. What you're going to do instead is unwrap your turkey and put it straight in your roasting pan. If you don't have a roasting pan, you can just use a casserole dish and a tray to catch any drippings. Remove the neck and giblets from the inside and pat it dry. Brush the seasoning all over the outside of the bird. Loosen the skin and put some of the seasoning underneath the skin, and any leftover seasoning can be put inside the bird with the lemon wedges and any fresh herbs. Then let the turkey marinate overnight in the fridge. This process will first draw moisture out of the turkey because of the heavily salted marinade, but over time it will turn into a nice briny solution and reabsorb back into the meat, giving it more flavor and tenderness. Now to be on time for Thanksgiving, you need to start preparing your turkey about 4 to 5 hours before dinner. You're going to remove it from the fridge and bring it to room temperature 1 hour prior to cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then cover your turkey with parchment paper and aluminum foil. I always do this parchment paper layer if I'm using foil because I want to prevent aluminum from leaching into the food because that can be toxic. Now roast your turkey for about 13 minutes per pound of meat. So our 15-pound turkey will roast for about 3.5 hours. If you don't have a roasting pan like me, or you just want evenly crispy roasted skin on all sides, cook your turkey for an hour and a half upside down and then turn it over and cook it for another hour and a half on the other side. Then about 30 minutes before your turkey is done, remove the cover and let it get a really nice brown skin. If you want, you can even crank up the heat to 425 degrees Fahrenheit for a few minutes and get it really crispy. When it's done, check the internal temperature and make sure it reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Then allow it to rest for about 20 to 40 minutes after cooking before serving it. At this point, if you're going to make gravy, you can go ahead and collect the drippings. Now you have your delicious roast turkey to enjoy. But I'm not done yet. I don't waste anything when I'm cooking, so I'm going to show you how to make a bone broth to be used as soup stock later on. First, fill up a tall stock pot with water, leaving some room depending on how much turkey and vegetables you plan to add. If you want a head start, go ahead and turn up the heat while you're preparing all the ingredients so that it's ready to cook as soon as you're ready to go. While it's heating up, go ahead and remove all the meat from your turkey. Any extra turkey meat can be stored for sandwiches, salads, and soups later on. Then you can drop the remaining carcass and any bones into the water. Add a splash of apple cider vinegar. This is going to help break down the bones and give you a really mineral-rich broth. The broth will have some of the residual seasoning from your turkey roast, but I also like to add some additional seasoning on top of that, like a cinnamon stick. You can add a sprinkle of anise seed, some sprigs of rosemary or thyme, bay leaves, and a few dried chili peppers like cayenne peppers. Now, most bone broths will usually have vegetables like carrots, celery, onions, and garlic, maybe even some parsley. If you want to make a really flavorful broth, then you absolutely should add some vegetables too. You can really just customize it according to your taste and what you have available at home. I love veggies in my broth, but it breaks my heart to throw out all that good vegetable fiber the next day when I go to strain the broth, so I don't always add them. And after cooking a huge turkey dinner anyway, who wants to go have to chop more vegetables? If you are going to add vegetables, it's better to add them during the last hour of your cook time because they don't need as long to cook, and cooking them for less time can help retain more of their flavor and nutrients. Fresh herbs can also be added in the last 20 to 30 minutes of cooking. Bring the water to a boil, then you can turn it down to a simmer and cook it for about 8 to 12 hours. I usually just go overnight with mine. Then remove it from heat and allow it to cool. I usually keep an eye on the temperature while it's cooling to make sure it doesn't get into the danger zone. The danger zone is between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the range in which bacteria can start growing really rapidly, so you want to get it stored before it gets to that temperature. As it cools, I like to remove the fat that comes to the top. You can also remove the fat after you've stored it in the fridge for a while. Drain it to remove all the bones and other solid ingredients. Now you have your delicious soup stock loaded with good nutrients. It's an excellent source of collagen, glucosamine, amino acids, calcium, phosphorus, and many other trace minerals. You can store it in the fridge for up to 5 days or in the freezer for 3 months or longer. This bone broth makes a fantastic stock for vegetable soups, chili, pho, or any number of other delicious recipes. Enjoy!